Morgan here from Cardfight Onyx Ring, giving you a deck profile of the Gold Paladin Gurguit deck post G-BT07. So without further ado, let's get into it. Our starter is Knight of Early Dawn Coel. Coel's standard Forerunner skill, and then his Act Generation Break 1 skill is very good. Unite skill, meaning that if you call 2 or more rearguards or guardians during the turn, that skill is activated. You can put them into your soul, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, superior call 1, shuffle your deck, and then give the unit that you called plus 2,000 until end of turn. So he'll start your superior call chain, or start it, or bring it back to life after it's died, letting you call more cards. We run him at 2, which is kind of iffy, but we run him at 2 so that if he gets retired, or if we just want to use him again, we can. So then we'll go into our grade 3s. Where of course we run 4 of our main guy, Gurguit. Gurguit's his Generation Break 2 skill being that if he's on the Vanguard Circle, at the beginning of the battle that he's attacked, you can Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and Superior Call 1 to Guard Circle at rest, so it's guarding, and then shuffle your deck. So this means that you can Perfect Guard from deck if a Glory skill says you can't Perfect Guard from hand, or you can Perfect Guard from deck if a really powerful attack's coming through and you don't want to waste all of your hand guarding it. So he's invaluable in those defense plays. Then his Stride skill is when he's stridden on, you can Counterblast 1, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, Superior Call 1, shuffle your deck, and then give it plus 2,000 power. This means that Gurguit can start his own Superior Ride chain, or just give you a nice, attacking unit and fill up your spaces. And like I said, we run him at 4 because he's the main grade 3. Our support grade 3, which is probably against the norm at this moment, because I know most people are running Ezel, is White Hair in Moon's Shadow, Pellinore. The reason we use Pellinore is because we'll get into that in a minute. His limit break skill is choose 2 of your Gold Paladin rearguards and put them at the bottom of the deck when he attacks. Then you can choose 2 Gold Paladins that are left on your field and give them both plus 5,000 power until end of turn. This means that you can stall your deck out and add some power at the same time. So he's refilling your deck and doing something else that's very important that we'll explain in a second. His second skill is also very important. Choose a card from your hand and discard it when he's superior called onto the rearguard circle. If your opponent's at grade 2 or higher, you can move him to the Vanguard Circle. So if your G unit has already attacked, and your Pwyll Superior calls Pellinore, you can discard a card, move him to your Vanguard Circle as stand, and he can attack again, making it so that you have 5 drive checks. That's amazing. So don't take it for granted. So the main reason that Pwyll is so important is because most people use Ezel to counter Link Joker, because Ezel can unlock all of your rearguards if they've been locked. Pellinore just stops the locking problem in general, because if you are facing Link Joker, then you'll want to be on Pellinore, and you'll want to only be using 2 to 3 rearguards per turn, so that you can get rid of them by putting them in the soul or putting them on the bottom of the deck with Pellinore. That way that they don't have anything to lock in the first place. This is most effective against Messiah, because if you use Ezel against Messiah and unlock all your rearguards, then Alter Ego is just going to be able to Soul Blast and draw, which is not what you want. So, use Pellinore to just totally dance around their lock skills. Run him at 4, because that way, he's actually, in my opinion, better for playing around Messiah, which is about to get support in set 8. That's our grade 3 lineup. Now we go into grade 2s. Our first grade 2 and our most mentionable one is Holy Mage Pwyll, the Amber clone. His Generation Break 1, when he attacks, if he's boosted, Counterblast 1, check the top 3, Superior Call 1, shuffle your deck. He's great for getting an extra attack when a rearguard's already attacked, and then you attack with him to call something over the old rearguard to attack again. So a lot of people don't think he works with Gurguit. However, on your Gurguit turn, your Gurguit Stride turn that is, you attack with the boosted, the rearguard that has the Gurguit power boost, unboosted first. And then you attack with the Pwyll column, and then call something over that rearguard. Your Gurguit's not losing any of his power, but the new rearguard doesn't have any extra power. The reason, and that's why you attacked unboosted first, so that has a boosted power boost, so you're getting more attacks off that are at a higher power than normal. So he does kind of blend with the Gurguit stride, and it is pretty effective at reaching those, at edging down guard at ending games. So if they tell you Pwyll doesn't really work with Gurguit, I tell you that you can combo it out and make it work. However, because he does kind of contradict some things in the deck, I only run 2. I know a lot of people run 3 to 4. I think that's unnecessary, and because of how expensive he is, you can run him at 2. So that's my opinion. Next up, we run 2 Knight of Far Arrows Saphir. I run Saphir over Marcia because he's faster than Marcia is. As soon as you Superior Call him, you countercharge 1 and soul charge 1. So, yeah, he's great like that. Marcia can work from your hand at the end of the turn in soul itself and countercharge 1, but still, Saphir, to me, he's faster, and that way you can recycle him by putting him back in the deck with Sleimy. I use 2 of Saphir because we have plenty of countercharge cards now that G-BT07 came out. We use 2 Lop Ear Shooters because Lop Ear Shooter, when it's Superior Called, you can discard 1, check the top 3, Superior Call another, and bottom deck the other 2, thus far continuing your call chain. It can't work from hand, so if it's in your hand, you can use it as perfect guard fodder or something like that. Or discard fodder. So yeah, Lop Ear continues your combo and does all that stuff. Next up, we have Knight of Spring's Light Perimore, the new triple rare that just came out in set 7. His Unite skill gives him +2 continuously, makes him an 11k base, but what's really important is his G-Break 1, where if he's called from anywhere, hand, Superior Call, you name it, Counterblast 1, look at the top 3, call something in the same column as him, and then bottom deck the other 2 in any order you want. The reason this is really good is just because of the fact that you can call him and continue a chain, or start a chain, and you can call a boost, you can call a Pellinore. It really doesn't matter. He just helps you continue the chain, and he's an 11k base, which makes him good for swinging. We run him at 3. This is because of, his combo potential and his beat stick potential all in one. Speaking of beat sticks, we go on to our main beat stick, Bullrgal. Bullrgal's Generation Break 1 Unite skill says that when he attacks a Vanguard, he gets +5 until end of battle. He's a 14k beat stick, and I'm proud of him because he's pushed through lots of turns with extra power from other units, like Scourge Point or the Superior Calls that give him +2, and it just makes him kind of a hard number to guard. We run him at 3 just for beat stick potential. That's our grade 2s. We go into our grade 1s. Sorry guys, I'm going kind of quick, 4th of July and whatnot. We got Sunshine Knight Gerrie. Gerrie is very important just for the fact that his Unite skill is after he boosts, you can insole him and draw a card. He feeds the Gurguit skills well because, he's a rear guard to help you boost, help you get an attack through, and then he insoles and draws, getting rid of a card that could have been locked, adding soul, adding hand for defense. So, super helpful. Run him at 3 to 4. I'm currently running him at 3. Might be upping him to 4. We'll see how that goes. We are running a 1 of Coolgal, Generation Break 1. When he's Superior Called, draw a card. The only reason I'm running him and not 4 Gerries is just because he's faster than Gerrie. If you're stuck and you need a little bit of a extra card in your hand to start a chain, in case it's like Perimore or something like that. We run 4 Stride Assists, of course. If you call him, reveal grade 3, search for Gurguit, shuffle your deck, discard a card. And then, if you stride with him, he gets grade +2, so you only have to discard him to stride. We won one of the new Quintet Walls, because a Quintet Wall is good for when you don't have enough hand to effectively perfect guard from hand, so you can just counterblast, call top 5 to guard. And its second skill is good because if it's Superior Called to guard, you can discard a card, add it to your hand, call the top card, and give it +5. So it'll effectively increase your guarding potential and add itself to your hand off of a guard at the same time. So it's a good little one-trick pony, well, two-trick pony for many reasons. Then we run 3 perfect guards, Holy Mage Candace. We run old perfect guards. And let me stress this, old perfect guards. If you run the GPG, it says when it's placed on guard circle from hand. That means you can't abuse Gurguit or Sleimy and perfect guard from deck, avoiding glory skills. This is the most important part. You have to run old perfect guards if you want to abuse those skills. So that's why we're running Holy Mage Candace instead of the Holy Mage Gerrie or something, the GPG. Our trigger lineup is 4 heals. Doesn't really matter what heal you use. And then we have 4 stands. Player of the Holy Pipe, Gerrie. Gerrie's Unite skill says he gets +3, and then at the end of the battle that he attacked or boosted, you can countercharge 1. So Gerrie gets +3, and then if it boosts or attacks, so it doesn't matter what position it's in on the rearguard circle, countercharge 1 and put it in the soul. That's important for filling up your soul and unflipping your counterblast so that you can continue to use Gurguit or something else that's super important like that. Run them at 4 because you want to countercharge as much as you can in this deck to be able to continue stuff. You run 8 crit, 4 Flame of Victory. Just because Flame of Victory is not a useless crit, if you have to Saphir call it, you can put it in the soul and give something +3. Refueling your Gurguit skill and adding some power. And then you run the new Scarface Lion boss crit for Gurguit, which, like any other boss crit, puts itself in the soul when Gurguit attacks. The Gurguit Vanguard attacks and gives it +5, and you can draw a card. So you run 4 of that, 8 crit, 4 stand, 4 heal. That's that. Next, we're going to go on to our G-Zone, starting with the staple of pretty much every G-Zone, running 1 Air Element Sebreeze. Sebreeze's act skill from the G-Zone is Counterblast 2, discard a card, any card, not a grade 3, any card. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard, and the number of face-up cards in your G-Zone is 0, and your opponent is at grade 2, and they did not ride, and no unit was placed on the Vanguard circle during the ride phase, so even if they superior ride, you can still do it, then you can stride him while they're at grade 2 and stalling you. So you kill ripples by activating, and this activates all your G-breaks, so it makes it so that everything you want to use in this deck that's a G-break works, and it gets you first stride even if they're stalling you. So basically it means that stalling is not a good idea anymore. Also, if they're grade stuck, you can punish them, therefore being very rude, but I mean, hey, that's the name of the game, right? And then next up, our second Cray Elemental is Rain Elemental Madew. This you use because Pellinore. If you stride this over a heart card that has 10k or less original power, you can choose a 3 from your drop zone and add it to your hand, fueling your next stride or perfect guard, or if you have to re-ride because you're fighting Mega Colony or something like that. Then we run 2 Boss Gurguit Stride, which is arguably the most important offensive card in this deck because its Unite Generation Break 2 skill is Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2. This unit gets plus 5,000 for each of your rear guards until end of turn, and choose up to 5 of your rear guards and give them plus 5,000 power. This isn't once per turn, and I've done this. If you have 5 unflipped damage, you can Counterblast 5, Soul Blast 10, and give every rear guard plus 25,000, and give Gurguit plus 125,000 if you want to be rude and overkill your opponent. My girlfriend was not happy with me. So after that, we run our watered-down version of Gurguit. We only run 2 Gurguit, by the way, because running more than him is kind of overkill and a waste of resources, and if you only usually need to use 1 or 2 anyway to end the game. Our watered-down Gurguit is Golden Dragon Scourge Point Dragon, who has a simple skill that whenever something's superior called while he's on the Vanguard Circle, he gives it plus 5,000, and he gives himself plus 5,000, doling out the power non-stop to your call chains. So you call that, it'll get plus 5. Its skill calls something else, it'll get plus 5. He'll get plus 10. you can call something and then Insole and then Saphir call something and it'll get +5 and he'll get +5. Not to mention, like, Gurguit will give something +2 when he calls it. That means it's getting a +7 and he's getting +5. So he's got a lot of power. You run 2 of him just because, you know, you had to make space for some other stuff. There's a lot of good gold Paladin strides. We're running a 1 of Fast Chase Golden Knight Campell. His skill is when his attack hits Vanguard, look at top 5, Saphir call 1, give it +2. It's good because it's an on-hit, so it's free. If you've run out of resources, but you can stride, and you don't want to, like, stride a Nilla stride that won't do anything, you stride Campell to give some pressure and hopefully make them perfect guard, and if they don't, then you'll be able to continue your turn effectively. We run 2 Golden Dragon Rising Shine Dragon, the new promo from the sneak peek of set 7. And when it hits, counterboss 1, choose any G unit that's face down and flip it face up. And then you can look at top 3 and call 2. This just helps you continue the turn if he hits. You can call a whole new column. You can call a new attacker and a Pellinore to continue the attacks. It's just very effective at being a pressure on hit. And we run 2 of him. Generally, he's a pretty good first stride. If you don't, first stride Sebreeze or something. After that, we're running 2 Golden Knight of Incandescence Ebraucas from Fighters Collection 2016. His skill is Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When he is stridden, look at top 2, call 1, put the other on the bottom. He's good if you're on Pellinore and you need something to start a call chain. That's simple as that. Then we have our generation guards. We run 5 of them because having options is, the name of the game, right? First up we run our Prey Elemental Metal Element Scryew. When you guard with him, you can discard a card and give him +10 shield, making him a 25k shield, which gives you a base 36k guard. So he's good for big numbers, and if you have enough hand that you can discard a card. We run 2 of the Fighters Collection G-Guardian Reia, which its skill is so easy to activate. If you have 2 Gold Paladin rear guards, no, not even Gold Paladin, if you have 2 or more rear guards, it gets +5 shield. So it's a 20k shield, 31k base guard. It's one of the easiest G-Guardian skills to pop off ever. So that's great. And out of set 7, we run 2 of the double rare Golden Beast Sleimy Flare, which, if you ask me, looks like a cat that somebody photoshopped armor and a sword into. When you guard with this, you choose one of your rear guards, bottom deck it, and look at the top 5, and call 2 cards that are different grades to guard circle, then shuffle your deck. Up to 2 cards. So what I like to do is I just kind of bottom deck it, search the top 5, and if there's a perfect guard. And that way you can just abuse perfect guarding from deck when you're on a glory skill and completely knock off a powerful glory attack. So that's our G-Zone. Of course, let me stress again, just run 5 G-Guardians. I know, we're not running any Legions, so we can't recycle any heals. So, you might ask, what's the point? The point is options. What if you don't need to Sleimy Flare, but you're only running 4 G-Guardians, so you've used your only Reia, and you don't have enough cards in your hand that you want to discard for Scryew, so now you're just stuck Sleimy Flaring, and then later in the game, you're 1 less Sleimy Flare, you're 1 Sleimy Flare short, and then they attack you with a big number that you can't guard. So it's good to have the options, It's not like it's going to really hurt you that much because you have 16 slots. You don't need to have all of the 12 slots other than 4 G-Guardians for offensive units. You can afford to tech in 1 just in case I don't want to overguard slot for like an extra Reia. So let me just stress that enough. You can also consider teching in, instead of an extra Reia, a Dismal to protect your Pwyll, because he does get swung at a lot. So think about that too. I hope you guys like my deck. I know there's some things that I could run 1 or 2 on, or something like that. So if you if you disagree with me some stuff, I encourage you to experiment and build your own style, but that's just my take on it, and it works fairly well. So, thanks. This has been Cardfight Onyx Ring. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and share it. Get the word out there. We're just starting up, and the team really needs some support. So, we're gonna start running, deck profiles, fight videos, and unboxings. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks for checking us out. Peace.